Infamous kidnap kingpin Hamisu Bala, known as Wadume, has been freed after serving a 7-year jail term, according to the federal government. The spokesperson of the Nigerian Correctional Service, Abubakar Umar, confirmed Wadume's release. Wadume was sentenced to 7 years in prison following his arrest and arraignment on kidnapping charges in August 2022, but his sentence was backdated to 2019 when he was first arrested. Abubakar Umar said he, Wadume, has served his full term and has been released from custody on Saturday in Abuja. His sentence commenced administratively in August 2019. Bala was first arrested in Ibi, Taraba State by the Intelligence Response Team of the Inspector General of Police on 6 August 2019. He escaped police custody while being transported to Abuja from Ibi. He was aided by some soldiers belonging to 93 Battalion, Tankum, which at that time was led by one Captain Tijani Balaribe, who allegedly shot at police personnel conveying Wadume. The attack led to the death of 3 policemen, 2 civilians, and wounding 5 others. Wadume was later rearrested by the police in Kano and charged to court in February 2020 alongside Balaribe and 18 others. Reports said former Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Mallams, who took over the case in June 2020, controversially amended the charges brought against Wadume to exempt Captain Balaribe and 9 other soldiers charged as co-accused. Prosecution reportedly failed to prove the kidnapping charges in which Wadume is accused of in the kidnapping case of one Usman Gaba, also known as Mayor. Wadume was alleged to have collected 106 million naira as ransom. So many persons have described this release as a misplacement of judicial justice system in Nigeria. Those who are supposed to receive stiff penalties from atrocities they committed are being pampered and given all sorts of leverages to come back and continue with their atrocities. Somebody who has committed this degree of atrocities, you are now treating him like a king. This is going to motivate and encourage more people to commit this crime because he will come back and continue to terrorize the people. In an ideal society, should not happen. People who are innocent are languishing in prison. Some of them have spent 20 years, 15 years in prison without trial. Now, somebody who has committed this huge atrocity against innocent people is being given few years of jail time and is now released. I think that the Nigerian state should be responsible for the level of insecurity, kidnapping, terrorism that is going on in the country because they have not taken necessary steps to deal with that. And I think this is frustrating for the Nigerian people who have suffered for the consequences of kidnapping, armed robbery, and other criminals terrorizing the Nigerian state. It was around 2019 when the news of Wadume broke out. He is a kidnap kingpin. A kidnap kingpin is a notorious kidnapper who is deeply rooted in kidnapping. To make it clearer for you, you remember the name Evans. Yes, Evans the kidnapper. Such is the kind of work that Wadume do. Wadume even do worse than what Evans is doing. Wadume has been terrorizing the Taraba and Benue axis with his kidnapping activities. Well, he was arrested by a team of intelligence rapid response team after evading arrest and custody on 6 August 2019. While taking him to Abuja along the Jalingo Road, the policemen came under heavy bombardment from soldiers. In the process, 4 persons were killed on the spot. 4 policemen were killed on the spot, while several others were injured. The soldiers then fled the handcuffed Wadume after killing the policemen. The army issued a statement that the policemen were mistaken for kidnappers, but refused to explain how Wadume escaped unhurt. Wadume was later captured in Kano on 27 August 2019. A video was released where Wadume confesses that soldiers released him after killing policemen.
Ni Hamisu Bala wanda yake da inkiya Wadume. 'Yan sanda suka zo Ibi suka kama ni, da suka kama ni suna tafiya da ni sai soja suka bi su suka buɗe wuta har wani su 'yan sanda suka rasa rayukansu. Da nan suka ɗauko ni suka kawo ni helkwatansu na soja suka yanke mun ankon ɗin da yake hannuna na gudu. Tun da na gudu ina cikin duniya sai yanzu 'yan sanda suka sake kama.
This is the translation of what he's saying. I am Hamisu Bala, also known as Wadume. The police came to Ibi and arrested me. After arresting me, they were taking me to Abuja when soldiers went after them, opened fire, and some policemen were killed. Furthermore, the soldiers took me to their barracks and cut off the handcuff on my hands, and I ran away. Since I ran away, I've been hiding until now that the police rearrested me again. Wadume was sentenced to 7 years in prison on 15 August 2022. Now, the then Attorney General of the Federation under President Muhammadu Buhari, Abubakar Malami, controversially amended the charges exempting Mr. Balaribe, who led the troops that killed the police officers and freed Mr. Wadume. According to Fisayo Sohimbo, an investigative journalist, Wadume supplied arms and ammunition to terrorists in the northeast and cattle rustlers across the north. Tinjani Balaribe, the army captain who led the troops to release Wadume, exchanged multiple phone contact with Wadume in the lead-up to the military raid that temporarily freed him. It was also Balaribe who handcuffed Wadume, paving the way for his escape. Balaribe confessed that Wadume and the commissioner of police in Taraba State were friends. What kind of a country are we? For so many years, Nigeria has been battling with insecurity. Insecurity has gobbled majority of Nigerian budget, yet there is an unending end to this menace. This year proved that insecurity is now a thriving business in Nigeria. The people at the top are the ones enabling insecurity. You keep hearing of military releasing repentant Boko Haram back to the society, and they are reintegrated back into the society. After their release, you will hear of Boko Haram attack. 2 weeks ago, the Nigerian army released 200 so-called repentant Boko Haram back to the society in Borno State. Just last week, 6 soldiers were killed by Boko Haram in that same Borno State. This shows that the government is not sincere in the fight against insecurity. Imagine releasing a gun runner, kidnapper, someone who caused the death of 5 police officers, who was meant to serve 7 years in prison. He was sentenced in 2022, but he has now been released, and the government is saying that he has served his term. What a country. Whereas there are many innocent people serving jail term who has been abandoned by the government. What is even the offense of Nnamdi Kanu compared to this guy? Yet, Kanu has been incarcerated for years without anyone saying anything or doing anything to release him from the custody. I mentioned Evans the kidnapper earlier, right? He was sentenced to 21 years in prison. What is the difference between Evans and Wadume crime? What exactly is the difference? Please, I would love to hear your thought. Punishment is meant to serve as a deterrent, but it's obvious in Nigeria, punishment is a form of encouragement for others to get into or continue their crime. No country prosper like this. It's impossible for a society to grow this way. Why the fight against insecurity will never stop. It is obvious some persons are benefiting from this, because all these criminals, all these kidnappers, all these bandits, someone in government is supplying guns to them. There are top people who are responsible in supplying these guns. If insecurity ends, how will they make money from these guns? How will they make money from smuggling and selling guns? Fisayo Sohimbo released a video about IBB Dende, and he said that this man is responsible for smuggling arms into the country. But guess what? This man is a friend to the presidency. You cannot see why they are paying lip service to insecurity in Nigeria.